I'd like to introduce you guys to my 2003 Toyota Celica GT. It's a manual transmission, 1ZZ FE engine. Put an NRG quick release steering wheel on it. It's kind of dark, I don't have good lighting in here. I just cleaned it up a little bit, quick wipe down. Repainted some of the engine interior black. I painted it orange because I was a stupid teenager, but just thought I'd show you guys the engine. These are the new headlights I put in about 2 months ago now. I tinted the old ones and they did not last very long. They overheated and melted bulbs. So yeah. It's obviously seen its use with the paint. That's all rock chips. My plans for this car is honestly just daily it. Underneath, I don't think it'll be bright enough, but there are no pinch rails basically on the driver's side. It's all rust. This car has been in Minnesota for the past 3-4 years, and it has not been nice. These are the headlights, the running lights. I think they look pretty nice. The other ones ended up yellowed. It ain't the nicest or newest vehicle, but for me, it's really nice. It's comfortable. I like the gauge. Gives a good feel when driving. It handles very well. Steering is very responsive. It's not delayed or squishy or soft like most steering is, especially with used and abused vehicles. But I enjoy the car. Just thought I'd share it with you guys. It's my favorite car. So I got 2 of them, one in the other garage. It's a work in progress. I plan to make a skid plate so that this lip here will come out probably about this much or so, like another inch, 2 inches. And it'd be an under tray from the front all the way to the back. Better aerodynamics. I do drive a little bit to work every day, so thought that'd help. Like I said earlier, it's a stock 1ZZ FE. Taking the cover off and painted the valve cover. I did that when the valve cover gasket was changed because it was leaking. Put a new air filter in at the same time. I have some ideas on what I'd like to do for this. I have a spare 6-speed transmission for it. And there's a whole lot of other ideas, like spending $100 on getting all new bushings for mostly the steering, but I'd also like to get new engine mounts, stiffer ones, just give it a better feel when driving. But because of the rust, I've decided to not exactly spend the most money on it. Strut towers are rusting, so it is a 20-year-old car, but my plan is once this thing falls apart too much, I was going to turn it into a racing sim rig. Might keep it as a whole car, probably not. I was going to at least cut the front off. Maybe keep the back as like a trunk or couch, but I have like a PC setup back there, or maybe hidden up under the dash, and a TV in front and probably on the windows too, and have it connected to the steering wheel and pedals so that it's a sim rig, but in an actual car. Should be nice. I've thought about taking Corolla engines, building those to swap in with the 6-speed. I do also have a new clutch I could put in, but a lot of it's just a lot of money that I'm not sure I want to spend on this because it is falling apart. But it's just a bunch of ideas I have. So some might come to reality, but most likely none of them will. As far as known issues, the only thing is the power steering, I think, is leaking back there, kind of near the pump. I put some Valvoline stop leak power steering fluid in because it was low, so that might have fixed it, but I don't know. Back in my work garage, this is actually my project. It's 2001 Celica GTS. It's actually what I got that transmission from. I can swap into the other one, and it's obviously a Toyota 2JZ engine swap. This motor was out of a Lexus IS 300, 2001, I believe. Bought it off eBay. Stripped it down to the pistons, swapped them out for GTE pistons. One of them actually came in cracked, so I had to get a replacement, but built it up with a whole bunch of eBay parts because I don't have money. You can see that rag there is from the fuel lines that are leaking. One right at that fitting, I feel like it's the O-rings I put in aren't seating correctly. And then right under here is another leak right after the fuel pump. I've also got a quick release on here. It's an NRG quick release. This is just a cheap $30 steering wheel. I probably will get another one. That radiator is actually free from my friend. Came out of OBS Chevy, I believe. I don't know trucks, but back there I think is a 17.5 gallon tank. Spare gas can. The main thing with this car is it's me testing myself. I'm 19 right now, and I got this car when I was 16. Yeah, I was 16 when I got this car. No, I was 17 when I got this car. So yeah, I got this car when I was 17. I got the motor that winter. Got this car in August, and that following winter got the motor. I had found out before then that the engine on this had actually decided to eat cylinder 2's intake valves and didn't like them, so it spit it back out the intake along with a bunch of oil. That was the previous owner, so I decided to J-swap it. I've also built custom headlights. Nothing's really wired in for those yet. They aren't the prettiest. You can see the shape. These were actually the original headlights, and I just heat. One of these, I cut out the bulge that factory Celicas have and welded in, I think it's on here. Yeah, welded in part of the bumper, bondoed it, and smoothed it over and vinyled it. Didn't do the best job, so you can still see it. And then the other side, I don't know which one's which. The other one, I used my heat gun and had heated up the lens with some gloves and pushed it in. That turned out better because it didn't have as harsh of a line, like a cut line. But I think the concept's good. I don't think I executed them the best. But what I like is almost like an R35. It's got this running strip I got off Amazon. And it's a sequential strip, so it on will just be a white strip, and then as a turn signal in 3 segments will light up yellow. So I really like that. I know it's not DOT approved, but they don't have to know. And yeah, the intake I'm still working on with this. It comes down to an intercooler here, but used from my friend. He's not the best friend. And goes back up there. I actually got one piece hanging there and another unfinished behind that broken speaker. But right now, I am trying to sort out the fuel leaks on this. I have gotten it to build pressure before, but I didn't have the right O-rings and they corroded. So now anytime I turn it on and try starting it, it leaks gas. And the ECU, the main issue I was having before, it's a Haltech Elite 750. I think it was cutting power to the ECU because the starter was drawing too much power, which caused it to shut off the ECU, and the RPM would flicker on and off between 0 and like 240-ish. So I think I got that somewhat sorted. My dad lent me AGM battery just over there. The battery was originally back in that corner, but I moved it up front because I used too small of gauge wire. So hopefully that should help with the battery issue. So it should crank over fine. It seems to crank over a lot faster now, but I'm still running into that issue where I don't know if it was sparking because I tried turning the fuel on and it pissed fuel everywhere. So I wasn't able to see if the battery fixed it by relocating it closer to the engine. But we'll see once I fix the fuel leaks. Probably make a video on that. It's, as far as I know, just this fitting and then one back there just after the fuel pump that are spraying gas. So probably my favorite thing about this car is the exhaust I put on it. When I was 16, I put a flex pipe extension, like one of the cheap $20 ones from AutoZone on it, and it ran through the suspension, which is not the best, with a cherry bomb. And that was okay. It was a lot of like tin sound, like ring to ting ting kind of. So after that, I ordered some mild steel tubing swapped that for my project car because the GTS did come with the fog light option. This one did not. Turns out the only thing Toyota did was make a stick without the switch and took out a relay. So I put in the stock with the switch and the relay next to my foot, and it works. All the wiring's there, and well, it doesn't work, but it works. I have 2 spotlights hooked up to it now, and I think a light bar in the middle too. I think that's hooked up to it too, but the issue is it's blowing fuses because there's a short somewhere. So I'll have to get new wiring and rewire all of it because I use kind of scrap wire that I had, and I think somehow in the process of doing that and adding the light bar to the pod lights, it ended up cutting some sheathing and shorting. So I'll have to work that out, but it's not needed. The headlights work now that I put aftermarket ones in. That's actually when I tried adding the light bar to the spotlights, but the headlights work, the high beams work, the running lights look good. It's all fine, not fine tuned, but it's all fixed, so it's definitely enjoyable for a daily drive. It's not like some 600 all-wheel drive horsepower monster, but it's 120 horsepower fun. I'm kind of tired of how slow it is though, so I have an itch to just build more power on this, but the main drawback is the rust on it. So kind of some ideas I've had is getting another Celica, yes, a third one, and restoring that so that it's not going to rust, and then building that how I want a Celica built, as in Bluetooth radio, obviously. Steering wheel will probably be quick release. Shifter might be a short throw. I want an all-wheel drive, possibly turbo, but a built motor to at least 300 horsepower. And I think that would be a lot of fun. Because with how light these cars are, I think their curb weight is about 2,400. With how light they are, like 300 is going to feel like 450, 400. So on most other cars, so I'm sure it'll get up and go just fine, and that will be like at least 2.5 times the horsepower it's got right now. So definitely got a lot of ideas for this, but I don't have a lot of effort going towards actually completing a lot of the ideas I have on this because of 1, budgeting, and 2, the rust, which kind of degrades the budgeting. So I don't want to throw $8,000 in parts to build a turbo motor, build 400 horsepower on this, and then next year the frame rusts in half and the car gets totaled, and then I run into that issue. So I would much rather just save the money to spend on the other projects, like mainly my house I bought and the 2JZ swap. That I know still got a lot more to go for it. There's a lot more work I still need to do on that, but it is coming along. If I can get the engine running, that'll be a huge milestone for me. That's the first engine I've ever built, so if it runs, even with all the aftermarket parts I put on it, I'll be just amazed, because that's either eBay or custom parts. Like, I don't know, that would just surprise me. Well, I'm on my way to work right now. I'll probably edit this video in the parking lot, but I hope you guys have a great day. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, at least a little bit of it. I'm not used to YouTube at all, but I'm really trying to push myself towards